Hey guys, this is Holland with the Wolverine.com, and we're back with another episode of Recruit of the Week. Before we dive into this week's prospect, I do want to remind you guys to subscribe to the Wolverine.com today for just $29.99 until August 31st. That gets you premium insider recruiting information, team information, basketball recruiting, NIL, transfer portal, and so much more. Plus, you get to be part of a great, vibrant message board community over on the Fort, all for just $29.99 until August 31st. That gets you through the basketball season, spring football, summer official visit season. So you're going to want to sign up today and take advantage of this limited offer. If you're already a subscriber, you can always gift a subscription or get one for your special someone. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, so why not get your significant other a subscription to the Wolverine? All right, guys, this week's Recruit of the Week is Channing Goodwin, 3-star wide receiver out of Charlotte, Providence Day in North Carolina, ranked as the number 72 wide receiver and number 506 overall prospect in the country. Right now, Michigan is considered the leader on the On3 recruiting prediction machine with a whopping 96%. However, Goodwin does boast offers from schools like South Carolina, North Carolina, Louisville, NC State, Kentucky, Mizzou, and a few other Power Fives as well. So a decent group of competitors there. Looking at Goodwin's rankings, he's really interesting in the sense that he's not ranked by ESPN. He's a middling 3-star on On3, middle of the pack 3-star on Rivals, but a top 100 prospect on 24/7. And obviously, like I said, on the consensus, ranked in the 500s. As a mid 3-star prospect. I really like Channing Goodwin. Before we talk about him and his connections to Michigan, he is a legacy recruit, so we'll dive into that and where the Wolverines stand. Let's talk a little bit about Goodwin as a player, because I feel like he is one of the more undervalued prospects in the On3 rankings, ranked as the number 104 wide receiver nationally, specifically on On3. I mean, you're going to be hard-pressed to find 100 receivers better than Channing Goodwin. This is a guy that just makes plays, man. He's not going to necessarily wow you with his frame. He's 6'1", 160. He can definitely add some weight in the strength and conditioning program, but as of right now, still has to bulk up a little bit. Not as physically impressive as some of the other highly touted receivers nationally. And might not, blow you away with his testing numbers or his speed either. But he's a guy that's just consistently open, just makes plays after plays after plays. I saw Charlotte Providence Day 3 or 4, something like that, 3 or 4 times this season. And, we talk so much about Jaden Davis and David Sanders and Jordan Shipp, but Channing Goodwin oftentimes was the most impressive player on the field. You talk about yards after catch. This is a guy that, again, he's not highlighted necessarily for his speed, but he has enough speed to break away and gain a ton of yards after catch. He breaks tackles despite having a slender frame. But the thing that really stands out the most is, again, just consistently getting open. He's a superior route runner, really savvy route runner, really technically sound. He's grown up around the game of football. His father, Jonathan Goodwin, won a Super Bowl, appeared in another Super Bowl. So he's a guy with a really high football IQ, a really smart kid off the field as well, and just reliable hands, really natural pass catchers, soft hands. Also a really good baseball player, plays safety, starts at safety for Providence Day. So a two-way starter at one of the premier schools in the state of North Carolina. I think Goodwin's just a really underrated athlete as well. His athleticism certainly stands out. So again, I think he's one of the more underrated guys. I would expect him to get a rankings bump at some point in the future. I mean, if you watch his junior film, the guy's just always open. And I think he would be a difference maker at a school like Michigan. I think he would be a nice safety blanket as well for whoever comes in and plays quarterback after J.J. McCarthy. He's going to be a dependable and reliable target. if he is in Ann Arbor. I think he's a guy that's just, again, going to be your consistent target that you can always rely on. In terms of his recruitment, I mentioned he has some other Power 5 offers, NC State, South Carolina being the regional schools, North Carolina as well being the regional schools that are pretty notable. But the ties to Michigan are obviously there. Like I said, he is the son of Jonathan Goodwin, and that's significant because Goodwin himself was a tremendous player at the University of Michigan. Like I said, went on to win a Super Bowl, appeared in another Super Bowl, was a Pro Bowler, offensive lineman. So one of the best to ever do it in Ann Arbor in the trenches. That tie is going to go a long way. I did a Where Are They Now feature on Jonathan not too long ago, and it's clear he still has a lot of love for the program. Well, he's kind of remaining neutral throughout the recruiting process, as he should. You can tell that he still values his experience at Michigan, and that's certainly rubbing off on Channing as well. But on top of that, Goodwin played alongside Ron Bellamy, who happens to be Goodwin's lead recruiter, Michigan's wide receivers coach. He also played under Jim Harbaugh with the San Francisco 49ers, so he knows Harbaugh and Bellamy really, really well. So I think it's obviously helpful that those two are the ones leading the way in Goodwin's recruitment. Goodwin's visited Michigan on numerous occasions. He made multiple visits in the fall for games, made an off-season trip as well. I expect him to be back in the spring at some point. Channing's never really given a true decision timeline, but I know Michigan would like to lock him up sooner rather than later. Even though he's not super highly ranked by a lot of the services, he is a guy that's in tier 1, and not just because he's a legacy recruit. I mean, this is a guy that Ron Bellamy really values on a really loaded wide receiver board. It's a strong year for wide receivers across the country in the 2024 recruiting class, but Bellamy sees a lot of talent and potential with Goodwin, so he is a priority this cycle. And obviously, I think landing Goodwin could help with his teammates as well. Jordan Shipp is also a top wide receiver target for Michigan. Jaden Davis is the top target at the quarterback position. So getting the Providence Day trio would be a great addition for Michigan this recruiting cycle. But aside from the other two prospects, I mean, Goodwin is a tremendous talent in his own right. And it would be great for Michigan fans to see him follow in his father's footsteps. All right, guys, for more Michigan recruiting coverage, make sure to tune into the Wolverine.com for just $29.99 until August 31st.